I took a bus across 3 states to surprise my daughter for her birthday. I hadn't seen her in a year. When I knocked, her husband opened the door, looked me up and down, and said, "We don't do charity cases." Then he slammed it in my face. I spent the night at a gas station. 2 weeks later, I returned with something he never saw coming. I'm not looking for pity. I've had enough of that in my life. What I wanted was a moment. One moment with my daughter on her birthday. That's all. Instead, I got humiliated by the man she married. And now, well, he's going to wish he never opened that door. Let me tell you what happened, from the start. My name is Carla. I'm 62. I live in Wichita, Kansas. I don't have a fancy house or a new car. I rent a small one-bedroom apartment near Pony and Oliver. I've worked my whole life. Cleaning houses, stocking shelves, working in school cafeterias, whatever I could do to keep a roof over our heads. My daughter Ava was my whole world. Her father took off when she was 4. Left a note, a half-used roll of toilet paper, and a pile of unpaid bills. Never heard from him again. So it was just me and her. I didn't go out. I didn't date. I worked and raised my girl. She was smart. Real smart. Honors student, even got a partial scholarship to Drake University in Iowa. I didn't want her to leave, but I told her she had to go chase her dreams. She got a business degree. Started working for some corporate office in Des Moines. Met a guy. Brandon. I first heard about him in passing. She said he was sharp, ambitious, and not close with his family. Funny how she made that sound like a good thing. I asked about him sometimes, but she always changed the subject. Then, about 2 years ago, her calls started slowing down. From once a week to once a month. Then silence. She didn't call on my birthday last year. Not even a text. I left her a voicemail. I never got one back. I knew something wasn't right. I tried sending a letter. Just a short one. "I love you, I miss you, please let me know you're okay." No reply. But I didn't want to pressure her. Maybe she was busy. Maybe she needed space. Still, when her 30th birthday came up, I couldn't sit around doing nothing. I hadn't seen her in over a year. I decided to do what moms do. I was going to show up with her favorite cake and tell her how much I loved her. I saved for 3 months. I don't have a car, so I bought a bus ticket. Wichita to Kansas City. Kansas City to Omaha. Omaha to Des Moines. 2.5 days on Greyhound. My knees swelled up. My lower back was in knots. I barely slept. But I made it. I held on to that cake box like it was treasure. It was lemon cake with raspberry filling, just like I used to make for her when she was little. I even found the same candle mold we used when she was 7. Little gold stars. I got to her house around 7:15 p.m. A clean townhouse in a quiet neighborhood. I walked up the steps. Took a deep breath. Knocked. He answered. Brandon. He opened the door halfway. Didn't smile. Didn't say hello. Just stared at me like I was a bug on his windshield. I said, "Hi, Brandon." He cut me off. Looked at the cake. Then back at me. Then he said it. Clear as day. "We don't do charity cases." Then he shut the door. Not slammed. Not gently. Just a cold, final click. I stood there. My hands shook. I knocked again. I called out Ava's name. Nothing. I waited maybe an hour. I didn't want to leave. I couldn't believe it. I kept thinking, maybe she didn't know I was here. Maybe he didn't tell her. Then a neighbor came out. A younger woman with a baby on her hip. She said, "Ma'am, if you're not leaving, I'm gonna have to call somebody." That's when it sank in. I walked to a gas station about 2 blocks away. They had one of those plastic benches near the restroom door. I asked if I could sit for a bit. The night manager, a kid who looked about 19, shrugged and said, "Sure, I guess." I sat there until sunrise. Holding that cake. It melted a little in the middle. The frosting cracked. In the morning, I threw it in the trash and got on a bus back home. I cried the whole way. I felt empty. Like I didn't belong to anyone. Like I had become invisible. But then something snapped. I stopped crying. And I started thinking. Not just about her. About him. I thought about his cold stare. His smug face. The way he looked me up and down like I was some vagrant begging for change. He thought I was nothing. That I'd just crawl back into my hole and disappear. He didn't know me. I didn't raise my daughter with nothing but my bare hands and a busted vacuum cleaner just to be thrown away like a used napkin. I gave up everything for her. And this man erased me like I never mattered. So I made a decision. I was going to make him regret it. But not by yelling. Not by begging. I was going to tear his whole damn world down, piece by piece. I spent the next few days in Wichita doing nothing but digging. I wasn't tech-savvy, but I knew how to read. I went to the public library and started researching Brandon. His full name was Brandon Tate. A few LinkedIn searches showed he owned a financial consulting business. BT Strategic Solutions. I found his picture right there on the homepage, with a cheesy quote under it. Integrity is profit's best friend. The irony made me laugh out loud in that quiet library. The website claimed they helped small businesses grow responsibly. But when I dug deeper, some things didn't add up. Too many vague partnerships. Duplicate listings under similar names. Same street address, 5 different LLCs. I asked one of the librarians, a sweet older man named Joe, how to look up state business records. He showed me how to access Iowa's Secretary of State database. That's when things started to make sense. Brandon had created 7 companies under different names in just 3 years. Same address. Same registered agent. Some of the companies only lasted a few months before being dissolved. That's not illegal by itself, but it looked shady. Then I started calling some of those partner companies listed on his website. One didn't exist. The number went straight to a voicemail for a nail salon in Omaha. Another one picked up, and when I asked about their work with BT Strategic Solutions, the woman on the line said, "Who?" Something stank. That's when I remembered Jolene. We used to work at the same high school cafeteria back in the 90s. She was tough as nails and didn't take crap from anyone. We lost touch when she moved to Iowa, but I still had her number in my old phone book. She'd ended up working in state financial compliance, last I heard. I called her. She picked up right away. "Carla? My God, I haven't heard your voice in 20 years. You okay?" I told her everything. From the birthday to the gas station to the business weirdness. She didn't even hesitate. "I'll look into it." 3 days later, she called me back. Her voice was different. Clipped. Serious. "Carla," she said, "I can't say much, but let's just say your instincts are right. This guy's playing games with tax records, vendor fraud, and maybe worse. I'm passing it up the chain. If you get anything else, send it to me." I started keeping a notebook. I spent the next week pretending to be a client. I emailed Brandon's company under the name Marie Collins. I told them I was launching a bakery and needed help with creative tax solutions. They responded within a day. The emails were full of red flags. "We can structure your income in ways that'll make it invisible on paper. No need to worry about audits, we've got methods." I forwarded everything to Jolene. She told me to hang tight. But I didn't. Here's where things really turned. I found Ava's personal email address in an old message from years ago. I wrote her a short, calm letter. "Just this, Ava, I came to see you. I wanted to surprise you for your birthday." Brandon answered the door. He told me, "We don't do charity cases." He shut the door in my face. "I spent the night at a gas station. You didn't even know I was there. I love you, and I always will. But I need you to know what kind of man you married. Mom, no threats. No drama. Just the truth." She didn't reply. But 5 days later someone did. A woman named Jill emailed me from a throwaway account. She wrote, "You don't know me, but I used to work with Brandon. I saw your name come up in some old company filings. He talked about you, said you were crazy. Said you were poor and probably dead. He's not who you think. If you want the truth, I have something. Meet me at the coffee shop on 86th and University, Thursday, 10 a.m. I didn't know if it was real. But I went. Thursday. I waited inside the shop for 10 minutes before she walked in. Maybe late 20s. Nervous. Looking over her shoulder. She sat down and said, "I worked in his marketing department. I quit 6 months ago." Then she slid a USB drive across the table. "It's got recordings. He used to brag in meetings. Thought he was too smart to get caught. I recorded a few on my phone. Some emails too. Client stuff. Fake invoices. Shell vendors." I stared at her. "Why are you giving me this?" she said. "Because he ruined my life. He got me fired from another job by bad-mouthing me. I lost everything. I couldn't fight him. But you clearly don't care what it costs." She was right. I took the drive and thanked her. Then I called Jolene. She said, "Carla, this is more than enough. You just handed me a grenade." A week after I gave Jolene the USB drive, things started moving fast. First came the subpoenas. Brandon's office was raided quietly, no headlines yet, But I got word through Jolene. She couldn't tell me much, just enough to say, "You started a storm, Carla. You might want to stay low for now." So I did. I stayed in a small motel outside Des Moines, paying in cash. No ID. No one knew I was there except Jolene. I didn't want to go back to Wichita yet. Not until I saw something change with my own eyes. Then, late one night, I got a phone call. Blocked number. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Picked up. "Hello?" The voice on the other end was tired. Quiet. "Mom?" My chest tightened. "Ava?" She sounded like she'd been crying. "I got your email. I didn't know. I didn't know you were here. I didn't know what he said to you." I sat down on the edge of the motel bed. "He told me you sent a letter out of nowhere asking for money. He said you were unstable. That it was best we didn't talk to protect our peace." I closed my eyes. "That son of a bitch." "I believed him," she said. "I was stupid. I should have known. I'm sorry." There was silence between us for a long time. "Just breathing," she finally said. "He's different now. Angry all the time. Paranoid. Always checking the front door. Deleting things off his computer. He's scared." "Good," I said. Then things got darker. A week later, Jolene called me in a panic. "Carla," she said, "I need to tell you something you're not going to like. There's a second investigation now." "Second?" "Yeah. Not about Brandon. About Ava." I sat up. "What the hell are you talking about?" "She's listed on some of the LLCs. As treasurer. On the same accounts. Same address." I felt the room spin. "You're saying she's involved?" "We don't know yet. But the paperwork has her signature. The money moved through accounts in her name. She might not have known. Or maybe she did." I didn't want to believe it. But my gut told me something had been off with her for a long time. Her silence. Her distance. Maybe it wasn't just Brandon controlling her. Maybe there was more to the story. I called her. She picked up, voice shaking. "I need to ask you something," I said. "Are you involved in Brandon's company? Did you sign anything?" She was quiet. Then, I didn't know what it was. He said it was just paperwork to keep things clean. For taxes. I didn't read most of it. "Did you get money from it?" She hesitated. "Yes." "How much?" "Mom, how much, Ava?" She finally said it. "Almost 70 grand. My heart dropped. $70,000. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't just being tricked. That was something else. I hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I thought about how I'd spent my whole life scraping by. Missing meals so she could eat. Walking to work because I couldn't afford gas. Sewing her clothes when I couldn't afford to buy them. And she let that man take everything from me, and handed him her signature. I thought I was fighting for her. Turns out, she might have been part of the same machine. I was ready to burn Brandon's life to the ground. But now, I wasn't so sure if Ava should walk away clean either. The next morning, the twist came. A black SUV pulled up in front of the motel. I watched from the curtains. 2 men in suits stepped out. One knocked on the manager's office. A minute later, someone knocked on my door. I opened it. One of the men held up a badge. IRS. "Ms. Carla Dunning?" "Yes. We have a few questions about your connection to Ava Tate and Brandon Tate. Can we come in?" I let them in. They sat down, opened a folder, and said something I didn't expect. "Did you know you were listed as the beneficiary on several of Ava's business accounts?" I blinked. "What?" They flipped a page. Showed me. My name. Carla Dunning. Beneficiary on 4 different accounts connected to Shell LLCs under Ava's name. Total value, over $180,000. It didn't make sense. "Why would they put me down as a beneficiary?" One of them said. "We think Brandon did it to hide money. Use your name as cover. In case anything happened, it would look like you inherited it, money laundering through family. It's a way to make it harder to trace the source. But it also makes you part of the paper trail." I stared at the paper. "They were planning to throw me under the bus," I whispered. The agent nodded. "Or use you without you ever knowing." So now it wasn't just about revenge. It was survival. And I wasn't going to let them take me down for their sins. It was time to go even deeper. It was time to show both of them that I'm not some poor, weak old woman begging for scraps. I'm their reckoning. I knew what I had to do. No more quiet moves. No more waiting around for justice to trickle down through some cold government system. I had been patient. I had played it careful. But they tried to put my name on dirty money. That changed everything. The day after those agents visited me, I went to the one place I never thought I'd return to. Their house. Same townhouse. Same neat lawn. This time, I didn't bring a cake. I brought proof. Ava answered the door. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her hair was pulled back. No makeup. No ring on her finger. Mom! She started. Let me in, I said. She hesitated, then stepped aside. Brandon wasn't home. She told me he'd been staying at a motel. To keep a low profile. I didn't care. I sat down at their kitchen table and opened my old leather folder. I need you to be honest with me. Everything. Right now. Ava started to cry. At first it felt like guilt. But then I realized it was fear. She told me Brandon had started pressuring her to sign papers about a year ago. Said it was to help manage liability. She admitted she knew something was off, but didn't want to ask too many questions. He said if I didn't go along, he'd leave me, she said. And that I'd lose everything. You did lose everything, I said. Your mother. Your dignity. And now you're about to lose your freedom. I slid the folder over. Inside were copies of the shell company filings, screenshots of the fake vendor sites, and a typed-out statement I'd been working on for days. My full story, with backup. Timelines. Dollar amounts. Names. I gave all this to the IRS already. I told her. But if you want even the smallest chance of staying out of prison, you're going to sign that statement and submit your own. Fully. With every detail you know. Her face went pale. Mom, they'll charge me. They'll charge you worse if they think you're hiding. She sat still for a long time. Then she picked up a pen and signed the bottom of the statement. I told her I'd deliver it. And I did. 3 months later the story broke in Des Moines like a bomb. Local finance CEO arrested in multi-state fraud scheme. The picture said it all. Brandon in handcuffs, being led out of a small courtroom, his expensive shirt wrinkled, his eyes dead. He tried to claim innocence, but between the voice recordings, the emails, and Ava's full confession, there was nothing left to hide behind. Ava was charged too, but the prosecutors offered her a plea deal in exchange for full cooperation. She took it. She lost everything. Their house. Their savings. Her job. Her name was smeared in the press for weeks. Brandon got 14 years in federal prison. Ava got 8 months in county with 5 years probation. She sends me letters from the halfway house now. Sometimes 2 a week. At first I ignored them. Then I started reading. She says she wants to rebuild. That she sees it now. That she was afraid and weak and chose the easy way out. I haven't forgiven her. But I haven't closed the door either. As for me? Well, after Brandon's arrest, the government seized all the linked accounts. But guess what? A quiet little restitution check showed up in my name 6 months later. The feds traced $42,000 back to invoices created using my personal details. Stuff I never touched. They couldn't prove I had anything to do with it, and they confirmed I wasn't complicit. So they gave it back to me. Restitution for damages, the note said. I moved out of Wichita. I bought a little trailer on the edge of Tulsa. Paid it off in cash. I planted a garden. Tomatoes, onions, squash. I even got a dog. Her name's Dot. I sit on the porch most evenings, watching the sun go down, drinking iced tea. Not thinking about Brandon. Not even thinking much about Ava. I think about myself. About what it took to survive. About how sometimes, revenge doesn't come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes with silence. And the sound of a guilty man rotting in a cell, while the woman he tried to bury lives free, with nothing left to prove. I was never a charity case. I was the storm he never saw coming.